come down here, we're gonna select this main object, and we're gonna come over here, and we're going to select X-ray mode. So what we're gonna do is we're going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to select the face right here, and we're actually going to delete it. So X, and then only faces delete. Now we're gonna tab back out of edit mode, and we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to select the bottom piece right here, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to actually apply the same material that we have on the top. So what this looks like, we're going to make it look like on the bottom here. Okay, so we're going to come over here, and we're going to add, we can see this material. So we went with material 01 right here. So let's go with material 01 down here too. Okay, so after making the top and the bottom metal with the same material, what we're going to do now is we're going to parent the objects to each other. So we're going to parent basically all the smaller parts of the object or of the cup to the, the main base part of the cup. Okay, so we're going to shift click here, shift click here, shift click here. We're going to shift click here, and we're going to shift click here. Okay, and then lastly we're going to shift click here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and we're going to come all the way down to parent, and we're going to go to object. Okay, so what this is going to do is every time we move this, the base of the cup, the whole thing is going to move. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so before we continue, for this actually, we're going to select these, and we're going to come down, and we're going to change the blend mode to opaque. This one, opaque. This one, opaque. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the base of the cup, and we're going to press R, X. We're going to rotate it forward. Okay, now we're going to click off that. We're going to click onto here. Make sure it's the lid right. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to material properties, and we're going to go to black, select that, and this is going to be opaque, right? Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to separate this with a vertical split by right clicking on the edge and then moving the vertical split all the way over here, probably like right here. Never mind, a little bit more. Probably right. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to switch this up here in the top left to UV editor, and we're actually going to give ourselves a little bit less. We're going to go right there. Okay, so we're going to go right here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to press A. And we're going to zoom out over here. And if this isn't already on there, you're going to add it right there. And then we're going to press U to unwrap, and we're going to press unwrap. Okay, now let's see what that looks like. That looks good. I like that. That's cool. It's starting to come around. Okay. I'm still going to adjust it a little bit, so I'm going to press A, and then also make sure that this is opaque, and no need to have the back face going on. Anyways, we can adjust the metallic here still. If you want to turn off like any of the overlays, then just click this off right here, and then you can see what's going on. So we're gonna make this I think I like the darker better, but the lighting will probably change that. So I think I'm gonna go with like right there. That looks nice. I like that. Let's see what the roughness can do for us here. Open up. Where's the I like it right there, actually, so I'm going to keep it right there. These two are probably going to make the most difference. You could actually change the color with the mission. I'm good with what's available here. With these settings, let's do just specular a little bit though. That looks really nice. I like the way that's looking. No, I like it right about there. I'm just going to set this to 5 now. Okay. So, emission. You can actually change the color of this if you change the emission. So we can make this like a little red, but keep it like dark, but not all the way down here, but like give it like a hint of red. Otherwise, you know, you go too bright and that hurts your eyes, or at least my eyes. But you can give it like a hint of a color. Like just a very little hint, you know. So however you wanted to do it. Dark blue or navy blue might be nice for this cup, actually. Maybe. But I honestly liked it the way that it was. So I'm going to keep it like this. And you can adjust it to whatever color you want. So yeah, so that's how you do that part. Anyways, I'm going to turn back on the overlays so I can see what I'm selecting. And now I feel like the top part has got enough here. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom now. Okay, before I move on, actually, while selecting the lid on here, so you should be about where I am right now. I'm going to come down here to the IQR, and I'm going to reset this to 1.450, just because it's not really, just keep it what it's at, right? What it was at. So we'll do that. And also another thing I wanted to mention is I'm going to turn this off over here so you can see. When you come over here, you can press A and it'll select all here, right? Let me just turn this on real quick. So if you're not selecting anything, right, you won't see it. But if you go to like select all, then it'll pop up over here when you unwrap it, right? And something that you can do, let me turn this off now. Something that you can do is you can move it along so you can actually control where the textures are on the object, right? But if you take this face off this box right here, then there's not going to be anything, right? So you can just leave it like that if you want, or you can scale it around, zoom it in a lot, zoom it out a lot, but remember you can't go too far out because it'll start cutting off. But you can scale it in, so you can kind of zoom in on a part, but as you can see, it kind of gets a little pixelated the more you zoom in, right? And then when you zoom out, it gets to where it is. But so you kind of want to have it kind of where you want, but not where it's blurry, not where it's cut off, right? Unless that's what you want. So I just wanted to say that's something you can do. You could also rotate this around with R. You can move it around. You can move it and lock it on the X-axis, and you can lock it on the Y-axis, right? So you can G and then Y, you can G and then X, right? Oops, don't do that. So you could just G and move it around anywhere you wanted. You can't G and Z because this is 2D. It's not actually 3D over here. So you could also do other things, right? You can pick little pieces apart and move them around, but probably not a good idea to do that. You're probably not going to see blue here. You can find out how to do all this other stuff with the unwrapping. There's plenty of information out there, but My goal is just to show you how to make a cup. And so that's what I'm going to stick to. There's already a little bit where I just kind of go off and show you how to do something else with the normals. So yeah, that's how you do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn this overlay back on. And I'm going to click off because I think that looks good already as it is. Anyways, I'm done with the top now, so I'm going to leave that at that. Kind of gonna get a good look at this real quick, so I'm gonna change this up here to cycles just to see kind of what it looks like in like the most realistic view possible, just to kind of get a look at it. And it looks pretty good right now. But anyways, I definitely do not recommend working in cycles. I would work with this part like an Eevee, and then yeah, so you have these options here, and you'll be fine. But if you work in Eevee, it's just gonna, I mean, if you work in Eevee, it's gonna be just a lot smoother process, and it's just not a good idea to work in cycles. I mean, unless you have a crazy PC, right? Then you're good. Anyways, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to work on the bottom texture. So I'm gonna select the tab in the object mode. I'm gonna select this where everything's parented. I'm gonna rotate RX, and I'm gonna rotate back so I can see the bottom part. Okay, so I can see that the metal looks nice on the bottom too. Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm gonna select the outer part, not the middle yet, and then I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I am going to go to material properties, and I'm going to add on the leather, and I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to go to leather. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press A while hovering over on this side of the screen, because if you go over here, it's not going to work. Hover over here, press A, and then press U, and then unwrap. Now, that unwrapped. Cool. So that's what that looks like. Again, if that doesn't work for some reason, you can try Smart UV project right here, but it should work if you were following this. So you should be alright if you were following this. Anyways, so I want to see what this looked like without having the glow on it. So I'm going to take the overlays off. Okay, so that's kind of, let me see how close it is to the light real quick. Oops. What's the light at? Okay, that's pretty good. I'm probably going to darken this though, so have this unchecked so you can see what's actually happening. I like that better because it makes it smaller, but then it makes the normals stretched. That's okay. I'm not really concerned about that because this is consistent texture all the way across anyways. So whichever looks best to you. This one looks too much. And then this one looks good. I like the way that this looks, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with this. Now we can come over here and we can start editing over here, and we can make this, let me see, hold on, make this more metallic. It'll bring the roughness up too, so that way we can kind of darken it. And I like that. I think that looks really good. So we're gonna go ahead and do that one right there. So that yeah, that looks nice. Maybe a little bit too dark though. Maybe give it some kind of glow, right? I like the way that looks. This 1.450 Okay, so now after you've adjusted the metallic and the roughness, should be good right there. But just just something to keep in mind is if you have the metallic up high and you have the roughness lower, it's gonna actually make it look more like metal, plastic, glass type. So just keep that in mind. So I'm gonna raise this back up because I want to just darken it as much as possible, and we'll get it pretty good. Okay, so that's nice. That's a nice bottom. I like that. That looks pretty good. Anyways, so now this part is done. So I'm gonna turn this back on, and I'm gonna start working on another piece. So I'm gonna work on this middle piece right now. Why not? It's right here. It's ready to go. So I'm actually gonna add the logo right here. So we're gonna do that one, and then we're gonna come over here, the logo right here too. And now what we're gonna do is tab into edit mode over here, and we're gonna press A, and we are going to press view and then unwrap. Okay, so this is where I left off. So once you unwrap right here, before you click on anything else, what you're gonna want to do is check down here where it says unwrap, right? It might be like this for you, but check it. And since it's off, you could actually correct the aspect, right? So you can bring it in so it's even, you know what I mean? It's not all like smushed down. It'll make it better. Watch, just click correct aspect. Okay, so after you click correct aspect, you press A over here if you don't have it already selected, and then bring it over. So G and then X, bring it over. Depending on what you're trying to put on there, you're gonna have to adjust this differently. So if it's like another image or another texture, like just a consistent texture, it's probably gonna be really easy. But if you want to do like a logo or something like that, just make sure that your image is like right in the middle. It's not like created towards the bottom. It's, you know, the artwork, the way that it's drawn, the way that it's created. Make sure it's like more towards the center. Otherwise, if you try to put it on and you try to like scale it up and down, you can start going off of you can start going off. Okay, so after you do that and then you select over here, the reason why this is this way is because um, I have constrained to image bounds on. So I can't, I wasn't able to scale off of this, which I think it's good to have on because when you have scale to image bounds, then you can't go off, right? So if you look and you try to scale it larger than what the image is, then you start to get, you know, just nothing there. And you kind of probably want it to be consistent. So anyways, I would just keep right here under UV, keep constrained image bounds on. So yeah, anyways, after you get constrained image bounds on, should be all right. Okay. So I'm gonna move it over now. GX. I'm gonna rotate, press R. I'm gonna rotate it this way. I think that sits nicely right there. Might want to scale it in a little bit actually. And since I have room here, depending on what your image is why you want it to be more made towards the center um, of your image. Anyways, so I scaled it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to bring the Phoenix up a little bit more towards the top. So probably like right there looks good, but it still looks a little bit off with the rotation. So I'm going to zoom out here. Check this out. I'm going to press 7. Come down straight. See how it is. I don't think that it's straight still. So I'm gonna rotate it a little bit more. Oops. Come on. That looks pretty good. Can try again. So yeah, adjust this however you want to. I just recommend to have, like I was saying, constraint image bounds on. It kind of depends on what you want to do. But for just like a single image, like the logo, there you go. So anyways, once you got the scale right, and your unwrap's looking good, then you should be ready to go. Depending on how your image is, or how your unwrap was, you might have to adjust like where these go, where to move this around to, how much to rotate. You might have to rotate it more. You might actually, if it's like a square, if you're not doing it on like on a face, a circle face right here, if it's like a square, sometimes you might have to like align or straighten out on the X. So yeah, so depending, you might have to like, so depending on how your image was imported, you might have to straighten, might want to use a line. But if it's looking good and all you have a little bit of rotation, cool, that's awesome. But if your image is imported and it's already like the artwork's already done right in the center of the image, then you should be able to scale it up and down and you should have plenty of room. And if it's just like a texture, kind of like this right here, then I mean you should be fine anyways because it's going to be consistent. Anyways, so that's basically how you do this part. So I'm going to move on now to the next. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go tab into object mode. I'm going to set this rotation to 0. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to put this logo on here in the front and the back. So for this, you can probably end up using a mirror. You could maybe get away with using a shrink wrap modifier, but those usually work best for like flat surfaces or if you're trying to do like labels. Okay, so anyways, is a shrink wrap modifier in modifier properties. Over here, down here in deform, it might work. It's probably better to use for just labels. It's good on flat surfaces too, but for something curved like this or coming down at an angle, I wouldn't use it. I would just go ahead and do what I'm about to do right now, which is duplicate the faces. Okay, so tab into edit mode, and now that you're in edit mode, let's go ahead and get rid of this edge loop right here going all the way around. So what we're going to do is we need to go to edge select and we need to alt click here, and then we're going to go to X and then dissolve edges. Okay, so now that that edge is gone, we can create a face We can select faces that go all the way down to the bottom, and we can add the logo all the way down to the bottom. We're not going to be there's not going to be any problem with the edge being there. So anyways, so now what you want to do is you want to come over here and where you want to, how wide you want the logo to be on this. So I'm gonna do like the whole front and the whole back, but I'm just gonna do the front first, and then I'm gonna do the back because I might want to put something else on the back, which is why I'm not gonna use a mirror modifier. So I might want to have like the Phoenix on the back, then I might want to have something else, some other kind of art on the back. You know, have the logo on the front and have the art on the back or whatever, or the logo on the back and the art on the front. Anyways, so now go into mode up here in edit mode, and then just select these. So hold shift while you select all these faces all the way around to right here. That's even. Yep. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift D to duplicate. Okay, but we're not done yet. What we actually need to do is we need to press P and then separate by selection. Okay. Nope, sorry, this was, I moved this over. Anyways, so this should be in the view layer. And now, as you can see, there's another circle here. It's gonna be this one right here. So anyways, tab into object mode, select this, tab into edit mode, and you should be able to select these, but not these. Okay, so now you're good. So what you want to do now is press A. Let me see right here actually. So GUI, and just hold shift and bring it out like a little bit. If you think you went too far, you messed up, just right click, and if you clicked, if you already left clicked and it's too late, just, you know, Control Z, go back, just reset. So GUI, just move a little bit forward. I think that should be good. Okay, so now this face is on the face of this object. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to press A, and we're going to come down here to material properties. We're going to select the material A, well, whichever material you were using for the logo, or whatever other image you wanted to use. And now what we're going to do is we're going to press U and unwrap. Okay. So after you press U and unwrap, you can't see it. You need to switch over to the viewport shading or material preview. Okay, so this one right here. Anyways,